And we are live. What's up, guys? So I am excited. We're going to do our special infield breakdown today. I have never shown infield in the past, and that's for a variety of reasons. But in this live stream, we'll put together a few interesting things for you guys. So let's build a little suspense. Let's wait for some people to jump on, and then we'll get cracking into it. Probably 10, 15 minutes from now, we'll jump into the infield breakdown. And then basically we're just going to do straight up Q&A. So I'm just going to answer all your questions. I'll try to go for as long as reasonably possible until we get all your questions answered. First off, also want to thank everyone who has subscribed to the channel. It means a lot. Made it to 50K, something that I wasn't sure if we would ever get to, but we made it. And it's exciting. And it's exciting for everyone. It's exciting for you guys because the fact that the channel is doing better means I have more clout that I can leverage to get cooler guests on. So there's a lot of I don't usually like to make promises until the guest agrees. There's a lot of people who I'm reaching out to. Some of them are saying no, some of them are saying maybe. So I think there's going to be some cool collaborations and guests coming on in the very near future. And I'll announce that as soon as it becomes, finalized. Without further ado, let's thank Jamal for being here. Congrats, bro. Proud of you. Thank you, man. Much appreciated. Let's see what else we got. Oh, wow. Questions are just building up. Because I'm the first one here, that isn't something to be proud of. That just means I'm losing on YouTube waiting for my next video because I don't have a job to work. It is what it is. Dude, the action this guy has got me in the last week since I started watching his videos is insane. Sometimes all you need is a mindset shit, and I appreciate playing with fire. Thank you. We appreciate you as well. Dude, India's in big trouble by the USA right now. What about you? Yes, I've heard that they're taking COVID seriously, which is kind of silly since I thought at this point we all know COVID's not really that big of a deal. That's a whole tangent I can get on. Man, I'm in Miami. Thank you, sir. Next up, 100K. Yeah, so this is automatically getting uploaded to YouTube. So, so there's really I don't even have a choice in the matter. That's why we had to do a lot of censoring before this live stream because there's a lot of personal information that was shared during the infield. So my tech guy had a fun little evening with that last night, just censoring all the details. And I'm pretty anal about that because last thing I want is a little tiny piece of privacy information getting through and the video getting taken down. So we had to do multiple edits. Alex, what do you think of Fresh and Fit podcast? Think you should do a collab with them? Yeah, that's just not going to happen, unfortunately. It's a long story, but it's just, unfortunately, it's not in the cards. What do you consider a software engineer to be when calculating my SMB? Is that an exciting profession or just nerdy? LOL. I don't think it matters one way or another. I think software engineer is fine. It's not as good as being a fighter pilot or a DJ or something like that. But I think more comes down to how you look, how you carry yourself, your style, your body and all that rather than your exact job. So I think it's a fine job. I was watching one of your Russell Brand videos and your analysis of him was really good. How do you get to that level of witty while maintaining your purpose in life? Of level of witty with Russell Brand or me? I don't, you have to clarify that because I feel like Russell Brand is a lot wittier than I am. I'm fairly quick, but I think he's a lot quicker. I don't think I would be able to do the stuff that he does. Do you think that having a high body count makes it tougher to bond to a partner, maintain long-term relationship, or even want them? No, I don't think so. I think if anything, it maybe makes it a little bit easier, possibly because you've already experienced a lot. So you're not you don't feel like you're missing out on something. Are you doing day game sessions or just doing it when there's an opportunity? Mostly when there's an opportunity. However, with the filming of the infield, I do have to plan for that because I need a camera guy and shit. I can't just expect people to just pop up when I'm ready to go to the grocery store. So with the filming of infield, it was planned, but typically it's just when I get an opportunity. Do you think you'll ever do a collab with Courtney Ryan? I'm actually not familiar with who that is at all, so I'll have to look into her. Not familiar. I'm in my 50s. How do you handle it when I meet women in New York City who are older and less apparent to want to hook up on the first day? I also notice many are reluctant to get sexual over text. How do I handle when less apparent to want to hook up on the first days? Well, part of it is screening. I mean, there's depends on what the older chick wants. Some older girls want to get laid. Some want a relationship. Depends what you want too. Do you want to get married, or do you want to what's it called? Get a girlfriend? So I would need to know a little bit more context about you. I'm looking to get hired. Are you hiring, Alex? In a very limited capacity. We are always looking for assistant coaches, but it's a really tough gig. You have to be really qualified, and I'm very, very selective who I pick for that. In terms of the tech stuff, we pretty much have it down at the moment. There might be opportunities in 6 to 12 months for more tech type of stuff because we're building apps and shit, but right now we got it kind of covered. So I'm sure there will be in the future, but right now only when it comes to assistant coaches, and those positions are really hard to get. So we're gonna roll the infield breakdown in exactly 4 minutes. I want to do it at the 10-minute mark. So I want to give people a chance to join on, so I don't have to play it twice. What do you think about trans women using the same skills or tactics? Like my tactics, or I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not into banging trannies, and I don't know. I think they're pretty easy to avoid, but yeah, if that's someone's thing, then power to them. How many more infield breakdowns will we see in the future? Really depends. Depends on how well this one does. Depends what the demand is. I'm always open to reconsidering my perspective on something if the feedback is different than what I think it is. Like, for example, I thought I was actually initially never going to put infield because I was like, well, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of risk. I don't really see the point. My channel is mostly online dating oriented. So I put infield of my texting, right? So why would I need to put infield of my cold approach when it's not even something that the channel specializes in? So I never really saw the point to it, but a lot of people requested it. So here it is. So I'm open to doing shit that the audience wants. Trying to go through these rapid fire. Russell is my man. J-Mov is my man as well. In my teens, I had barely any game. I've been thinking about going more continuously to the gym for the purpose of developing my sexual market value. How would you handle a situation like this? Well, I would go to the gym more. I mean, you kind of said it yourself. Go to the gym in my teens. Also, you're super young. Go to college and join a fraternity. That's actually one of the best things you can do for getting laid. If you're in good shape, you have some social skills, and you're in a decent fraternity, it doesn't really get better than that unless you reach celeb level after college or whatever, become a whiz at dating apps. So that would be my advice. Sup, Playing with Fire, John Anthony Lifestyle sent me here. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you, John. What is your honest opinion on Fresh and Fit on things they discuss? Well, let's save that question for later. For reasons that are going to become apparent pretty soon as we roll the infield. How did you start your journey with PWF, and what did you change within yourself to get to where you are right now? Well, I have a video called, how I started the business of Playing with Fire. But, I mean, Playing with Fire came way after I got into game. That was already, years into the game before I started Playing with Fire. What I have to change about myself? I don't know. I had to become more patient. Customer service can be frustrating. I couldn't just fucking, if someone's giving me shit or email, I have to handle it professionally, right? So I had to curb some of my impulses, be more patient, stuff like that, I would say. Be more accountable, whether I'm sick, I'm not sick. People who are my mastermind, they're paying money and they want their questions answered. So it doesn't matter how I feel that night, I still have to answer their questions. Within reason, unless I'm dying or something like that. So being more accountable, more responsible, stuff like that, I would say. Are we going to see Playing with Fire on the road? What cities would you like to make videos in? Possibly. We are discussing right now having a summit in Medellin, Colombia around September. we're still kicking around the idea. And what's it called? Anthony Johnson will be one of the speakers. Obviously, I have to talk to John, but obviously he'll be invited as one of the speakers. So we're gonna invite a lot of good guests. So, but that one's still in the works. Like once we get more of the details in, a lot of it just depends on the travel COVID situation. We will release it. All right, guys. So without further ado, let's roll this infield clip because I know that's the reason a lot of you guys are here for. And afterwards, I'm going to take a bunch of your questions. So bear with me while I figure out how to do this share screen shit. Hang on a second. Share screen. Chrome tab. All right. So I think there we are. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to play this. This is a opener, 2-number close, day game. There's some parts where the audio cuts out a little bit, so I'll narrate and I'll also do like little breakdowns and explain what's going on. So let's do it.
Is your husky? Oh shit. You're like visiting, or was there?
No, I'm here.
Oh, you just left your husky to like kind of fend on
No,
himself?
I'm Moroccan, so my parents live in Morocco.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
He's saying cute. Is it he or she?
It's actually, he's gender neutral. He doesn't identify as either a man or a woman. He identifies as a dog. So if you could just be respectful of him, please.
So here I'm just trolling the girl a little bit. So what was my opener here? Unfortunately, we did not get that on tape. This is the problem with filming infield. You just don't get everything. But I saw her kind of looking at my dog, and it's pretty hard not to look at my dog. Now you might be thinking, well, dude, you're just using your dog to get laid. Of course. You want to use all the tools at your disposal. I have a dog now, so I'm going to use them. I've only had a dog for a year. I was getting laid plenty from cold approach without a dog. But now that I have the dog, obviously I'm going to use them. It's a no-brainer. So what's it called? I started looking at the dog. I'm like, oh, are you staring at my creature? All right. I call him my creature. It's kind of funny. Anyway, so here, we start talking about the dog. So my style with day game is I like to go in like somewhat indirect, like direct/indirect. Well, let me make sure. Can you guys hear me well? Because I want to make sure. I've never done one of these before. So give me a thumbs up if you can hear my voice narration. I'm just going to wait for a few thumbs up. My creature. Okay. There we go. So, okay, cool. So, yeah. So basically, I like to go in semi-indirect. I don't like to just just be like, hey, you're hot. Although I'm not about doing that if I can't think of anything else to say. But usually I like to go semi-indirect and transition. And you guys are going to see the transition. So right now I'm trolling the girl a little bit. She starts asking me about the dog. Rather than have a logical exchange like, oh, he's a male and blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to fuck with her a little bit. I'm like, oh, he's actually gender neutral. So I appreciate if you don't misgenderify him. So I'm just fucking with the whole SJW shit that people are doing nowadays. Right. So let's play it. But the key with trolling is you don't want to overdo it. You got to drop the troll.
I'm not gonna say anything anymore. I don't know what to say.
Nah, I'm just fucking around. He's a he. He is a he.
What's his name?
Rhaegar.
Rhaegar.
Rhaegar, yeah. Bonus points if you know where that's from.
I don't.
No?
I don't know. You're thinking of Rhaegar? I've heard Rhaegar before in France.
Rhaegar is a dragon in Game of Thrones, and Rhaegar is one of the princes in Game of Thrones.
I think we're the 1% that have never seen an episode of Game of Thrones.
Damn, girl.
Yeah.
So here I'm talking to her about completely random shit. Like this is just the topic that came to mind. Like we're kind of talking about my dog and the name. So this is just free flowing, basically association. Like this kind of stand-up comics talk about it, but whatever comes to your mind, right? So and that's kind of the key. I don't have a set. This is what I disagree with a lot of the old school pickup artists on. I don't have like a set lines or a set script that I try to run. I think honestly, all that shit looks really cringe. It's pretty obvious to me and to most chicks when a guy's like running lines. I have friends who do that still, and it just comes off super cringe in my opinion. So I don't know. I think that's bad game. I think it's much better to be more natural and just free flowing, kind of have fun with it. But you also still want to get to the point. So here, opened indirect, but now we're walking together. Now, generally speaking, I won't actually, most situations, I won't walk with the girl. I'll stop the girl. But this was going to be one of those cases where I was going to have to walk with her a little bit, right? And then, we're kind of shooting shit about the, whatever, Game of Thrones. But then I'm going to bring it back to something a little bit more practical.
Like some Moroccan gold. Right. So what's your story? You live here now? Or? Yeah. I got a school here. Okay, like Miami?
So I think it's important at some point to transition from just like random bullshit to like actually asking the girl some logistical or questions about herself. This is how you show interest and ground yourself as a normal person. If the whole conversation was very abstract about like my dog and Game of Thrones, that might be fun and shit and give her good emotions. But then when I get her phone number, she'd be like, the guy didn't even ask me what I do. And also, I want to figure out some logical things about herself. Maybe she's a tourist who's leaving tomorrow. Like, what is her situation? I want to get all this information before I get the number. So I think it's good at some point to transition. And I like to ask stuff like, so what's your story? Right? Like something basic. I think that's a good question to get the combo going. Once you have a level of investment that we already have.
Ago, well past my college days, but yeah, I live in. Oh, we've been looking at apartments there actually.
Really?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Is it really?
It's really nice, yeah. Amenities, sad, like everything about it.
Give me like the 20-second spiel. That's it.
You should go
because we need to get out of our apartment right now.
Well, I live in a 3-bedroom with 2 other girls, and that's super fucking spacious. Like the balcony goes around the entire, almost the entire apartment. It's on the 19th floor.
What's up, buddy? Don't mention us on your channel again, bro. I'll do my best. My favorite podcast. What are you gonna do? If you really want to, are you? YouTube.
So here we are rudely interrupted. I'm not going to mention any names, but we're rudely interrupted. But I think it's a good example of, unfortunately, there's nothing I could do about that. So sorry, Fresh and Fit. I mean, sorry, random person who interrupted me. But yeah. So anyway, nothing I can do about that. But yeah, so you can kind of see how you guys stay cool under pressure. I didn't flip out. I didn't make a big deal out of it. I didn't get into a fight or do something stupid, right? I'm just keep talking to the girl, which is, my prerogative, right? So, and as a quick side note, later on that night, we talked it out on the phone. So there's no beef. There's no drama. There's nothing like that.
Don't cry about it. Try me a river. YouTube competition.
You're a YouTuber?
Yeah. He hates it because I've mentioned his channel. I have a podcast. I mentioned them. And I didn't even mention them in a negative way. I just said that certain things they say I agree with, certain things they don't agree with. Well, I guess they don't like to eat.
I've never seen that before because I'm not into YouTube, but.
Well, if he was cool, I would have been like, yeah, sure, man, no problem. He was just such a big.
Weird. Yeah. What's your name?
So here I got to find a way to make this a lot more relatable to the girl, because that is, from a random girl's perspective, that's like, what the fuck just happened, right? So I have to find a way to kind of make this seem like it's not a big deal, which it's really not at the end of the day. And I had to just basically make it the whole thing's not a big deal, and kind of find a way of explaining it to her, yeah, it's a YouTube thing, blah, blah, blah. The whole thing was actually super duper silly, in my opinion, anyway. But okay, so let's see how we transition into the close.
Alex. Your place?
No, I'm gonna wait for a friend.
Oh, cool. Can we exchange numbers and grab a drink?
Sure, yeah.
Tell me more about the rock. I'll tell you about the question.
You can tell me about the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, fill you in.
Hi, girl.
What's your name?
Non-Game of Thrones.
Non-Game of Thrones knowing, mask wearing, flat iron living.
Alright, well,
Nice
You
to
have a
meet
good rest of your day.
you as well.
So there we go. Super simple close. Don't make a big deal out of getting the girl's phone number. You don't need to, be like, oh, so can we go out? Like, yeah. My clothes are simple. Like, hey, let me grab your number. Or can I get your number? Whatever, right? If you have investment from the girl, vast majority of the time she will say yes. At that point, just more a matter of will she respond, will she not? So this one, I wish I had more time with her because of the minor incident that I think probably could have whatever, like maybe rubbed her the wrong way or whatever. Or just made her think like, whoa, what the fuck is going on with this guy? I hope he's not involved in some shady shit. But she seemed pretty chill near the end. Always when I get a girl's phone number, I give them a hug, give them a kiss on the cheek. If it's a Brazilian girl, I might give her a kiss on the lips. But yeah, you don't need to do anything like super crazy or anything like that. But yeah, so there we go. There we have it. That's my little, let me put myself back on the screen. There we go. So yeah, that's my little infield breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And then I'll take questions regarding what's it called, the whatever, the infield. I'm sure you guys have some questions about that, and I'll answer any other questions as well. And then if you guys really want, I can show some some fail clips of me getting rejected. Those might be fun as well for you guys to see if you guys can do me a solid and help this video get to at least 100 likes. So we can get ranked highly in the YouTube algorithm. So everyone slam the like button, please. And then I can share if you guys, there's a lot of interest. I can share my fail clips. One thing that this experience taught me is I have a whole new level of respect for YouTubers who film infield because that shit is fucking annoying and hard. We had so many like good footage that like the audio didn't work or this didn't work or that didn't work and we couldn't show it. So I had footage that I thought was a lot better than this that I would have rather shown, but the audio on it sucked. So now I have to go in and what's it called? Go in and like have like whatever the backup mic, like all these lessons I learned just from like whatever filming, just a bit of infield. All right, so let's take some questions. Okay, so we got thumbs up, good game. Good game should not look like game. 100% agree with that. Good game should not look like game. If it looks like game, then it's probably not good game. Yeah, it should not be fancy. It should not be whatever, just awkward and weird and just look like a guy's trying to win the girl over. Yes, sir. So this is already being posted live to YouTube. So this will be there. Is the success rate with these higher than having the perfect dating profile or say Bumble or Tinder? No, not really. Day game is relatively inefficient. Having a really good profile on Bumble or Tinder will probably be more efficient. I do find that my only thing with day game that I like is I can find these like really hot girls who don't really party much, like I don't know, like career chicks who are very attractive, who don't really get approached much, who are just like super like good people that I can meet from day game, but I won't be able to meet them from night game or dating apps. Success rate can be high in cold approach unless you have a AAA dating profile. It just depends on the person, depends on the city, depends on everything. What's up with the scooters? Yeah, welcome to Miami. Saw a lot of chess videos on YouTube recommended. What's your chess rating? I have no idea why those keep popping in there. I used to play chess when I was like 10, 11 years old. I haven't played chess in ages. I'm sure I would still be pretty decent at it, but I don't really watch those chess videos, so I don't know. Todd V got wrecked from this community. I don't know. Maybe I would still love to have him on for a podcast. I've made numerous attempts to have him on, but he keeps, playing hard to get. So we'll see. Maybe at some point we'll get him on. Crazy! I can't believe. Someone asked, have you seen the 100+ infields of John Anthony in his product Oscam's Raider? I watched some of them. I didn't watch all 100, but I watched for like a dozen or two. Yeah, they're good. I mean, I don't know. I didn't have time to watch all 100, but I saw a few dozen, I would say. When you got interrupted, what happened? Is there a wrong way to handle it? I mean, you kind of saw what it is. The wrong way to handle it would be to get reactive, get pissed off, get emotionally reactive, make a big deal out of it. Just any of that dumb shit that people do. Like a cool alpha guy will just let things just roll off his shoulder. He doesn't really make a big deal out of things that aren't a big deal, because at the end of the day, it's not really a big deal. How often were you consistently cold approaching before PWF? How long was I consistently cold approaching? Well, I did cold approach only for, I want to say, 2 years before I ever tried online games. So I was definitely cold approach only for a while. I probably hit like 100 layers from cold approach before ever diving into online. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely my bread and butter for a while. How did me and Indian P meet? It's an interesting story. We met through my old business partner, David. They met randomly, and then he introduced me. And me and him hit it off. We took a trip to Colombia at one point. We were staying there. It was a good time. So yeah, we had a lot of like the same like sense of humor and same style. For a long game, how much of a minus is being bald or shaved head, almost bald? Well, maybe a bit, but I know plenty of bald guys who get laid. So I think that if you're bald, the best thing you can do is put on muscle and get a few tattoos, so you have like the jacked bald guy look, kind of like Johnny Sins. In that case, you can crush it. Besides, dating apps are a good place to meet women. So yeah, I mean, we've answered this question a few times. I would say the bar, you can meet them just walking down the street. You can meet them at the coffee shop. You can meet them really anywhere, grocery store, Whole Foods, whatever. Anywhere where there are chicks is a good place to meet women. What are comfort questions you ask before getting a number? I don't particularly ask comfort questions. I ask more of like get to know you shit. Like, where do you like? Oh, do you live around here? Are you a local or a tourist? What do you do for work? So I just ask that stuff because I want to have an idea of the girl's archetype and shit, and kind of like what her schedule and availability is going to be like. But I want to ask like comfort questions. How to fix nervousness? Probably desensitize yourself to it. So just go out and approach girls and do things that make you nervous. Now, periodically, you'll become more and more desensitized to it. What do you think about Dave Perota and How to Beast in terms of their cold approach videos? Dave Perota, I'm not really familiar with, so I don't want to make a comment on someone who I don't know. I've heard not the best possible things, but again, I don't know him. I haven't seen his infield, so I don't want to make a comment. How to Beast, I have seen his infield. I actually like, I think his name is David Della Moranis. I like him as a content creator. His cold approach was pretty weak. I mean, but that's not his specialty. I would definitely like I've seen some of his cold approach videos. He goes up to girls and he says, like, hey, do you know where the coffee shop is? And then he tries to transition. And I just think that's like very subpar game. Like no guy that's advanced is going to be doing that, but that's okay. I mean, he seems like intermediate in terms of cold approach. If I had to rate him. Any book you recommend? I like one of my favorite books is Total Recall by Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've read that book many, many times. I just love that book. The Winning Effect by Ian Robertson, I think, is a very interesting book. It breaks down the psychology of winning. What are some other books? I really like. I gotta read this one again. The Rise of Superman by Stephen Cutler. It breaks down the science of flow states. I really want to check that one out again. Hey, Alex. How would you respond to, sorry, I don't get on Tinder much? Good question. How would I respond to that? Sorry, I don't get on Tinder much. I would say it's okay. I'm sure you make up for it in person. Probably something like that. What was the reason you chose to cold approach that girl? Anything particular striking with her? No, I mean, she seemed cute. Like, I like more olive-skinned girls, and she fit into that category. I like girls between 5'2" and 5'5", so she was like a little bit shorter. She was like 5'4", so she kind of fit my physical requirements. I saw her looking at the dog, so yeah, nothing special. Okay, wow, these questions are just building up. So online game is more effective than cold approach in your opinion? And I wouldn't say use the word effective. I would use the word efficient. It is more efficient. It is more efficient use of your time. In terms of whether it's more effective, really depends on where you live, how good your cold approach skills are, how good your profile is. It depends on a lot of factors. I wish you could get more plays on the podcast. I know, me too. I really wish I could too. You know, it's pretty funny. I was watching the this maybe I fucking died laughing when I was listening to this. I was listening to the podcast he did when he did, my voice, the video, not the podcast, the video he did analyzing my voice, and he's like, yeah, this guy was his whatever subscribers were just annoying the shit out of me in the comments. Every single comment on every video I would post would be, you should come on the PWF podcast. And he was just like showing that. I was like, holy shit, I had no idea how bad it was. So like, I sent him an email later that night. I was like, dude, like, by the way, my apologies. I didn't mean to like have my subscribers harass you. I just wanted to give you like extra motivation to come on the podcast. I had no idea to which extent it was. He was a really good sport about it. He was really cool. And, we emailed a little bit back and forth. He just told me, he was just straight up. He's like, dude, I'm sorry. I'm just like too busy. And, would have to really justify, me taking like 2 hours off. Basically what he was saying is like, if you had a podcast with 1 million subscribers, I would do it. But, at 50,000 subs, for me at this point, it just wouldn't be a good use of my time, which is fair. So, we'll hit him up as this channel becomes more popular. Ever been to Toronto? What do you think about game here? I have never been to Toronto. I know Austin lived there for a while, and he loves it, and he thinks game there is great. So that's all I have to go by. What do you think about Miles again, besides crawfish, about Wells, D3s, SMV, sexual? Yeah, I think they probably suck. Again, I'm not really into doing super gamey shit. I like to keep things simple and fun. I think that when you get too technical with it, well, it can backfire. Have you ever heard from Jack Demo? What are your thoughts? Yes, I have, actually. I met him once briefly. He was living with Austin for a period. I think he has, even though he's not a pickup guy, I think he has better cold approach or better game than the vast majority of cold approach YouTubers. So I think he's legit, and I definitely want to get him on the podcast. Okay, let me just catch up with these questions. How long should the day game interaction be for a solid number? I don't think there really is a special, like, it doesn't need to be like a certain time period. It could be as short as 2 minutes and as long as 20 minutes or half an hour. I don't think it's just enough time. You just love that coffee, don't you? No, it's not coffee. I would not be drinking coffee at 9:30. I do like coffee, but not so late in the day. I'm drinking kava right now. Okay, let's see. Would love if you could go through some failed approaches so we get the whole deal. Keep up the good work. I can show some failed approaches. If there's a lot of interest in it, I'll do it. So if you guys want to see the failed approaches, I'll share like one or two. Let me know in the comments that you want to see it, and there's a lot of interest, and I'll show a few. What do you think about getting a little drunk for day game approach for beginners? I did once. I get smiling. I just know. I think I would probably, instead of getting drunk, I would drink kava or take a Klonopin or something like that. Take something more natural. I would not get drunk for day game personally. I mean, but that's, again, I'm biased because I don't really drink, so I drink very, very socially, like one drink or 2 drinks maybe a week or something like that. I prefer other shit like kratom and kava. Is there a possibility of having Mystery on the podcast? There's always a possibility. The ball's in his court right now. I've reached out to him so many fucking times. I reached out through people, blah, blah, blah. He just keeps ghosting and ghosting. So I don't know. My honest assessment of Mystery is that he has a little bit of an ego and he thinks he's like too good like that he's like the godfather of game, and that he's like too good for these like little podcasts, these little millennials. So yeah, I would love to have him on, but he has to respond to my messages for that to happen. Do you plan on doing a hair transplant? Yeah, probably at some point, especially because John just did it and he seems to be having good results with it. I don't think my hair situation is that bad though. Like I don't think I need it. I think the next thing I'm going to be doing is stem cells, and that's going to help me regrow some hair. So I think that I'll probably do a shitload of stem cells, and I'm going to see how it goes. And after that, if I'm not satisfied, then I'll do a hair transplant. That's kind of my game plan. Okay. Hey, Alex, how long do you take to respond to a chick on Tinder? If she responds midday, do you wait till nighttime? No, I respond to girls when I'm free. Like, I don't have a set response time where I'm like, oh, I got to respond to her 3 hours later. I just respond when I can respond. I don't overthink this stuff, to be honest. Not ain't related, but curious, what was your degree and job? You were, yeah. So I was a marketing major. I went to Boston University, actually a pretty good school. Graduated with a marketing degree. Didn't really do shit in college. I still got good grades, but mostly partied and shit. After that, I moved out to LA and I started working in the solar industry. So I did not really put my degree to use ever. Started doing sales in the solar industry and did that right up until PWF. I did that for a few years. No. He wasn't coached. He wasn't coached by Austin, but what's it called? They just lived together for a period of time. But no, they weren't coaching each other. Is it better to prepare questions? Definitely better to think off the top of your head. I think preparing questions can come off really weird and forced, so I would not do that. Does the chick Carla in the viral video demand royalties? No, I have not heard from her in like a year. But you know what's funny? My roommate matched with her on Tinder, so we'll see what happens there. No. All right, people are saying they want to see the failed approaches, so let's show a few. Why not? Let's show a few failed approaches. How do I do this? Share video file. Okay, there we go. All right, let's take a look at this.
Hi. My dog really wanted to meet you. That's why he dragged me over here. I had no choice in the matter.
He doesn't look so interested though.
Really?
Yeah.
He's just playing hard to get. He's got a game, I'm Alex.
I don't do hands, sorry. I'm actually waiting for my cousin.
Oh, you're married?
Yeah.
You're married?
Two very good married. Thanks.
Nice to meet you.
Have a nice day.
Ouch. Rejected. So that one, she like right away, the red flag was she did not want to shake hands because it means she's super paranoid about COVID. Those usually are not going to go anywhere. I generally speaking don't even really approach girls with masks on average. We were just kind of testing out the audio and the video on that for that day. But also right away, she tells me she's married. And usually when a girl asks me that, I like to kind of test the waters. I'll be like, oh, is that a good marriage? And then if they hesitate, I know that there's a chance. If they don't hesitate, then whatever. I'm not going to waste any more time on that. So whatever, just politely walked away. No biggie. All right, let's look at one more. Failed too.
My dog really wanted to cross over to be your dog.
Oh, he's not too friendly.
Oh, he's not?
Sorry, he just gets scared. He doesn't bite, he just gets uncomfortable.
Does he get?
So my opener here was because I crossed the street. And I like to use this one a lot. My dog really wanted to meet you because it's like I want to meet you, but take some pressure off. It's like semi-indirect. So if you have a dog, definitely I find that weapon works well. But right away, I get resistance. Now notice how in the first piece of infield I showed, not the one right up before this, but like the successful piece of infield. That girl was really receptive. And a lot of it is outside of your control with day game. Again, you're going to find that, and we're going to see later on, this chick is also married, right? And it's a matter, it's a little bit of a luck game. Some chicks will be single, some chicks will be married. But right away, she says, oh, she's not too friendly, right? So that's like already like we're starting on a positive. On the negative, you saw the same thing with the previous interaction. Oh, I don't shake hands. When you start getting negatives and the negatives, built up, then you just want to kind of like, the key thing with a bad interaction is, one, not to make a big deal out of it and get into like a stupid egotistical argument with the girl, and two, not waste time on it. So you'll see that with these bad interactions, I don't waste more than like 2 minutes. Why is it not playing?
He doesn't bite, he just gets uncomfortable.
Does he get that from his owner? If it doesn't bite, he just goes.
No, he's a rescue. He has some pre-existing, I don't know.
Yeah, so is this guy. I rescued him a year ago.
Yeah, no. You're just gonna stay still. Oh yeah, you shake.
He's trembling.
Yeah,
I thought you had a
baby.
baby in there for a second,
No,
and I
this is
realized
my
it's like your
baby.
dog's.
So here I'm trying to kind of break the ice and just kind of get her laughing because she's very tense. So I want to loosen her up a little bit before like I state my intentions and make things go a little bit more direct, because she's very tense right now. Like you can't really see it as well because the infield's not as close, but I can tell the time by her body language. She's just like kind of like, so I want to like, that's why I'm cracking jokes and trying to loosen things up. And it usually works unless, in situations like this.
Little thing.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, she's young for mom, but I guess it's Miami.
No, we're stretching. We're just going for a little walk.
Cool. What's your?
Okay, buddy?
Here, I was literally about to ask her, what's your name? And then she goes down and starts playing with the dog. So also bad timing here. Some of the shit you can't control.
What's your name?
Aaron.
Cool. Nice to meet you. I'm Alex.
Nice to meet you.
I'm just using the dogs like an excuse to kind of further.
So here, the problem is that she started moving away. So I had no choice. I would have liked to, like if she was a little bit more relaxed, I would have liked to build a little bit more rapport and go direct a little bit more smoothly, but she starts walking away. So I have to transition pretty fast, right? So here I like to say, by the way, I'm just using the dog as an excuse to flirt with you. Something that I think is pretty obvious about my actions, but then here I'm kind of stating intent a little bit. And it's a little bit of a Hail Mary move at this point, but I didn't have any other options.
Take care.
So you can't hear, but she tells me I'm actually married, so sorry. And then she's like, take care. So yeah, not much that can be done about that. So there we have. There's two. We have a bunch of other ones, but we got to censor those better before we show them live. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little montage of me getting rejected and having to go home and cry for a little bit. All right, let's see what other questions we got. We'll take questions for I want to say another 20 minutes, and then we'll probably do another one of these at some point, especially if there's a lot of demand. All right, so let's see what we got. Okay, how's your game in college? It sucked balls. I barely ever got laid. I had what game? That would be my question. There was no game that I had in college, so it was pretty bad. What type of cold approach rejection responses do you use? I mean, I don't have like a girl rejects me. I'm just like, okay, cool, nice to meet you. Like, it's not a big deal. Yeah, Alex, did you ever meet up with your Kate? No, not yet, but we've been in contact, so hopefully soon. I want to get him on the podcast too. Alex, is it true that Austin was coached by the dean? Any thoughts? I know they used to work together. I know that for a fact. I don't know if he was actually coached by him or not. I don't know enough about the backstory there. Thoughts on the Elk Boys? I don't watch too much of their content, but they seem pretty funny. I mean, they're doing like pranks and shit. I heard they're like one of the few YouTubers who are keeping like whose pranks are real. So props to them for that. BU was a great university for the programs over there, or great, or because of the girls there. Well, probably both. I mean, It was a good time. I mean, I made a lot of cool friends, partied a lot. You know, it was a cool city. A variety of reasons I would say it was cool. I mean, BU is also like 65% girls, 35% guys. Too bad my game was total dog shit at the time, so I couldn't really take advantage of that. How do you handle hot chick that so many guys trying her and you want to get out of the friend zone? Well, I don't get friend zoned in the first place. So the situation wouldn't apply to me because I wouldn't get friend zoned in the first place by the hot girl, right? Because I, avoid the friend zone like the plague. So that wouldn't happen to me. Once you're in the friend zone, it's a little bit tricky. Check out the article we have on the website called How to Get Out of the Friend Zone, my 6-month experiment. I'm from Boston. The BU campus is small for hot girls. Yeah, man, it's great. I should really go back there after learning game, see what I can do. Who has hotter chicks between Miami, Vegas, LA, and Colombia? It depends what kind of girls you like, but I would say, in my opinion, Miami or Miami. I would say Miami would have the hottest girls in the world from what I've seen. But the girls in Colombia are a lot easier. What are some good open scroll? Do you think it's hey thought? What are some good open scroll approaches during day game? Do you think hey thought you were cute? Thought say hi would work often. It would work. I mean, it's going more direct. It's fine. I prefer if I can to go semi indirect, but if I don't really have anything that comes to mind, then yeah, I'll say something like that. Okay. The the rejection is just important as the close. A lot of good teaching in the fails. Word. Yeah. So I'll try to what's it called? We'll definitely try to do we'll do like a rejection compilation and shit like that. And I'll show more of these. Do you ever plan on having kids? Why or why not? I'm not really sure at this point. I don't know, maybe, but not anytime soon. My girlfriend won't swallow enough. How to convince her? Just be like, babe, I really like it when you swallow my jizz. I don't know, man. Have you heard Corey Wayne? Thoughts on him? Yeah, I've heard of him. He does not seem like a guy. Wait, am I thinking of the right guy? Yeah. It's the older guy. He does not really seem like a guy that gets laid based on his body language and his tonality at all. But I've never met him, nor have I ever watched his infield, so can't say for sure. Yeah. I mean, in Miami, not as much as you'd think because there's other blonde and tall guys here. But in Colombia, yeah, definitely. Like even though there's still some there, still a good amount of gringos there, you still got a pretty decent advantage being blonde and tall. How do you qualify break report in texting? How do you qualify and break report in texting? I'm not really big on qualifying girls, so that's not really part of my text game arsenal. Breaking report. What does that even mean? Like is that breaking report basically when you like tease the girl? Like what is that? Like there's so much PUA slang and terminology I sometimes can't keep up with it. So you'll have to like elaborate a little bit on what it means to break report. But I've broken down my text game quite extensively. If you watch my video called "The 5 Fundamentals of Text Game," you'll see what I think is important and what is not. So, I'm pretty clear on like what I think is actually important when texting girls and what I think is superfluous. How true is that Evolution Daily thoughts on his channel? I like Aaron from Evolution Daily. I haven't heard anything about him being fake. I don't know. I'd have to see the evidence, but I like Aaron a lot. I think he's pretty good with chicks from what I've seen. So I don't know. Why does Kezia want to do a sequel appearance on on the channel because we had a great podcast the first time. I want to have her on again. She's fun. And she's got some good insights. So yeah, we decided to have her on again, and then I'll probably at some point go on her podcast. Okay, so let's do, because my voice is kind of crapping out. So let's do like 1 or 2 more questions, and then we'll call it, and then we'll do another one of these in the very near future. Is tonality what tells you whether a guy gets laid or not? Yeah, tonality, the way the guy carries himself, just his confidence, how he handles shit. Yeah, I don't know. It's like kind of like a vibe you get. Like, I don't know. I feel like I can pretty accurately gauge how successful a guy's with women just from hanging out with him for a little bit. A personal question: when did you lose your virginity? I lost my virginity at 19. When did I first start developing game? 21, 22, 23. Probably more or less had some game by 23, 24, something like that. And last question: how would you respond to a girl who says, "Why do you want to go out with me?" Well, what would I say in that situation? Why do you want to go out with me? I would qualify her because you seem like my type, and I like a girl who blank, blank, blank. So I would qualify her in that point based on something that she said. I guess in that sense, I do qualify chicks now that I think about it. But yeah, I would just, give her reasons based on the earlier exchange. Just give her solid reasons. Okay, let me just quickly answer. Where do we get your 5 fundamentals? On the YouTube channel, man. It's called, the video is called 5 Fundamentals of Texting Girls or something like that. It's on there. You'll find it. And let's end it on this. What are your thoughts on the looks debate and how much they matter attracting women? Looks matter, for sure. The way I always explain it is like looks and game are 2 important sides of the coin. So you can't just have purely looks. You can't just have purely game, right? You need both. So they're both important. They both help. To what degree depends on the girl. Yeah, it's not just looks, it's sexual market value, right? So looks just falls into sexual market value. So looks, sexual market value matters, and game matters. That's kind of my perspective on that. All right, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys found this valuable. Thank you for helping us get to 50K. I really appreciate it. So next up, we got 100K. Help us get there. We're going to be able to get some cool guests on once we do. Well, I think, or once we get even bigger. And also, we're going to have a 100K party once we get there. It's going to be epic, and we'll probably just invite everybody who wants to come. So it'll be a good time. So yeah, guys, so if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We got a new video coming out tomorrow, how to spot a catfish, so don't miss that either. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time. And let me know in the comments of this video if you want to see more infield type of stuff, and we'll make it. Cheers.